Well, we heard it, Bucks fans chanting Bucks in six before game 3. Now, Suns fans, they probably laughed considering they were up 2-0, but fast forward and that's what could happen tonight in Milwaukee. Bucks and Giannis now leading the series 3-2, have a chance to win the title in 6. Milwaukee now just 1 win away from their second NBA title in franchise history. Their last one, 1971. Looking at games when the Bucks had a chance to clinch the series, and man, it is looking good. Game 4 against the Heat, they won by 17. Game 7 against the Nets, won by 4 in OT. Game 6 at the Hawks, won by 11. What will happen tonight in Game 6? Let's welcome back our NBA champ, Avery Johnson. Now, Avery, what needs to happen for the Bucks to win their first title since 1971?
Well, it's all about Jrue Holiday. Obviously, Giannis is going to get his 32, 35 points, double-figure rebounds. He's going to be Giannis. They're going to have 25, 30,000 fans outside the building. But this is all about Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday has yet to have really good back-to-back scoring games, not just in the finals, but throughout the playoffs. His defense on Chris Paul has been unbelievable, but Jrue Holiday has to score the basketball tonight. Middleton's been a little, inconsistent in terms of his elite superstar status. But if Jrue Holiday, scores 25 points tonight, continues to play the outstanding defense and be a disruptor, whether he's on the ball or off the ball. That was an incredible steal at the end of Game 5 on Devin Booker. This guy can dominate the game defensively, but they really need his point production tonight in Game 6, where they're trying to close out the Phoenix Suns and win the NBA Finals.
It's amazing that he hasn't had that back-to-back success, because if you look at the numbers, Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday, they're averaging 82 points per game over the past 3 games. So there's definitely a lot of offense on that team. And you mentioned Chris Paul there. He's trying to rewrite his legacy. What is the message that Monty Williams is sending to his star point guard? Do you think it's fair, Avery?
Yeah, I think the message from Monty Williams to, future Hall of Famer Chris Paul is to be aggressive to score, not to pass first. He needs to be a scoring first point guard tonight, similar to what he showed in that closeout game in Game 6 against the Los Angeles Clippers. In that game, he wasn't looking to pass first. He was aggressive to score at all 3 levels, at the basket, mid-range, and behind the 3-point line. And one of the things that'll happen is if he's aggressive to score, that's going to minimize his turnovers. And then here's one other key. He's got to get the ball up the court faster versus Jrue Holiday to get them in their offense quicker so that they'll have more time to operate within the shot clock. They've had too many opportunities, too many situations where they were late in the shot clock because Chris Paul is backing the ball up the floor. So get them into their offense quicker and be aggressive to score.
So you want Chris Paul to be a little bit more selfish. When looking at this whole series in general and Chris Paul's legacy, how do you think that this game can affect it?
Chris Paul he's still a legend. When you look at guys like Charles Barkley, who didn't win a championship, Karl Malone, who didn't win a championship, got Allen Iverson, they're still Hall of Fame players, but it's still that one missing on your resume and on your bio. So I'm sure he's got that in the back of his mind. But if I'm Chris Paul, it's one possession at a time, 1 minute at a time, just thinking more of the small victories that you can have within this game rather than to worry about his legacy.
Avery, we're counting down the hours for Game 6, so give us an X factor that we should look out for tonight.
I think the X factor for the Suns is Cameron Payne. Here's a guy, in their first 2 games in the Western Conference Finals when Chris Paul was in the health protocol, he was extraordinary. He in Game 2, I believe he had 28, 29 points, 9 assists, no turnovers. So he needs to play when he's on the floor without Chris Paul. He needs to play with that same aggressiveness, speed, pace. And then when he's on the floor with Chris Paul, just don't settle. Don't, if he has the ball, make a play, be aggressive. So he needs to be that Cameron Payne like he was in those first 2 games of the Western Conference Finals when Chris Paul was in health protocol. It's just the way that you have to train your mind to have that type of aggressiveness and attitude. So I think Cameron Payne can be an X factor for the Suns tonight.
There's such a mental aspect to it. In Game 5, he only had 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. So we'll see what he puts up tonight. And I can't let you go without asking, who you got tonight? You've been saying Suns in 7 this whole time. Are you sticking with it? Who's going to win?
Oh, I'm sticking with it. Suns in 7. I'm not backing down. And tonight, Devin Booker and Chris Paul combined for 65 or more points. The rest of the role players, they turn up their defense and get to the free throw line tonight. That's one of the things that they haven't done a really good job of getting to the free throw line. I don't see the Bucks shooting 50% from the three-point line tonight. A lot of pressure on them in front of their home crowd. Suns in 7, so that means the Suns win tonight.
All right, Avery, thank you for your time. It all goes down at 9 p.m. Eastern in Milwaukee. We got some gambling goodies before we end this segment right here. The Bucks 12-2 straight up. 11-3 against the spread in games 3 through 7 this postseason. Looking at Giannis there, the over-under is set at 32.5. With Chris Paul, it's only 21.5. The Suns right now plus 320 to win the series.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.